The job no one would give. The spaceport was loud, bright, and full of different alien species. Ships landed and flew out every few minutes. Robots zoomed by. Traders shouted. Guards stood watch. But in the middle of all this movement, one figure stood still. Zuri held her daughter close. Her arms ached from carrying the little girl all day. Yeli was only 5 cycles old, her small Quillari body wrapped in a worn blanket. Zuri's eyes scanned the crowd again, searching for someone, anyone, who would offer her a job. She had asked at the loading docks, "Can I help carry cargo?" They laughed. She went to the cleaning center. "I can scrub floors, I have experience." They shook their heads. She tried the food court. "I can wash dishes, clean tables." "Get lost," one vendor snapped. "We don't hire your kind." Zuri walked away quickly, heart heavy. Her daughter looked up. "Mama, I'm hungry." Zuri smiled weakly and gave her the last protein biscuit from her pocket. She hadn't eaten all day. No one wanted a single mother. No one wanted a Quillari. They said her kind was weak, slow, emotional. Not good for work. Not good for anything. She sat on a bench, holding Yeli tight. The sky above the port was a mix of stars and ship lights. She had been on this station for 2 weeks. No money, no food left, no help. Then she noticed him. A human stood near a small cargo ship. He was tall, with short dark hair and a calm face. He leaned against his ship, arms crossed, watching her. His eyes were not cruel like the others, just curious. Zuri quickly looked away. But the next hour, he was still there, watching. Later, she stood again and tried once more. This time, the recycling plant. She begged. "I can clean the machines." "You'll break them," the manager said. She turned to walk away, but then she heard a voice behind her. "Excuse me," the human said. She froze. "Were you looking for work?" Zuri slowly turned. "Yes, I'll do anything." He nodded. "Come, I might have something." She followed him, unsure. Her heart pounded. Humans were rare here. She had never spoken to one directly. Many aliens feared them. Some respected them, but they were known for being unpredictable. At his ship's ramp, he looked back. "Name's Marcus." "You?" "Zuri. And this is my daughter, Yeli." He looked at the little girl and gave a small smile. "Cute kid." Zuri said nothing. She was still unsure if this was real or another cruel trick. Marcus opened the ramp and stepped inside. Zuri hesitated, then followed. The ship was clean and small but looked well maintained. Advanced tech hummed softly. Lights flickered gently. There was a scent of metal and oil, but not dirty. "I need someone to clean up the lower cargo bay," Marcus said. "Dust, scrap pieces, some spilled coolant. It's a mess." Zuri nodded. "I can do that." He looked at her with careful eyes. "I'll pay you, not much, but fair. And if you do well, I might have more work later." Zuri's throat tightened. "Thank you." He handed her a pair of gloves and pointed down the hallway. "Storage rooms that way. I'll watch your daughter while you work, if you want." Zuri tensed. "No, she stays with me." He raised his hands. "Fair enough." Zuri went to the bay. Yeli sat in a corner with a soft blanket from Marcus. He had even given her a protein bar. Zuri worked hard. She scrubbed the floor, collected broken parts, wiped down panels. Her arms burned, her back ached, but she kept going. 2 hours later, the bay looked clean. Not perfect, but better. She stood up slowly, breathing heavy. Marcus came down and looked around. "You did good." Zuri lowered her eyes. "Thank you." He pulled a small pouch from his belt and handed it to her. "Payment, enough for food. If you want to come back tomorrow, I'll have more work." Zuri took the pouch with shaking hands. "I will." As she stepped off the ship with Yeli, stars lit the path below her feet. For the first time in weeks, something inside her sparked. Hope. And as she walked away, She didn't see Marcus watching her again. This time with something more in his eyes. Trust, the human's strange offer. The next morning, Zuri arrived early at the docking bay. Yeli held her hand, humming a quiet tune. The station air was still and cold, but something inside Zuri felt warm. Hope was a strange feeling, fragile like glass. She knocked gently on the ramp of Marcus's ship. For a moment, there was silence. Then the ramp hissed open. Marcus stood there, frowning. "I didn't expect you to return this early," he said. "I said I would," she replied quietly. Marcus studied her face for a moment, then stepped aside. "Come in." She stepped inside, but the ship felt different today. Tense. Quiet. Zuri noticed something new. A broken crate in the corner, contents scattered. Strange blue crystals shimmered on the floor. Dangerous energy pulsed from them. Before she could ask, Marcus spoke. "Someone broke in last night." Zuri froze. "What?" He nodded. "They didn't take much, just tried to scare me off the next cargo job." "Was it because of me?" Marcus looked at her. "Probably." Zuri lowered her eyes. Her stomach tightened. "I can leave." "No," he interrupted. "That's not what I want." She looked up, surprised. Marcus walked to a small table and opened a case. Inside was a folded uniform. It was plain but clean, his crew outfit. "I want you to wear this," Zuri blinked. "Me? Why?" "Because I need someone I can trust. I'm taking a contract to a dead zone planet. Salvage mission. Big risk, big reward. I can't go alone." Zuri's mouth opened slightly. "I'm not trained. I'm not strong." He shrugged. "Maybe. But you're smart, careful, and you didn't steal anything when I left you alone in my ship yesterday." She hesitated. Her people never got offers like this. Then Marcus added quietly, "And I saw you pick up the crystal on the floor just now and place it in the case. You didn't even think twice." Zuri's cheeks warmed. She hadn't realized he was watching. Marcus closed the case and gave a small smile. Most crew would have taken it and ran. She looked at the uniform again. "What about my daughter?" "She comes. I've got space, I've got rations, but this job isn't safe. You need to be sure." Zuri looked down at Yeli, who had climbed into a corner chair and was now playing with a small ship model. The little girl looked peaceful, for once. Zuri turned back to him. "I'm sure," Marcus nodded. "Then suit up. We leave in 2 hours." Later, that day, as the ship left the station, Zuri sat by the control panel. The stars blurred past the windows. Yeli slept beside her in a soft blanket. Zuri didn't know what waited on the dead zone planet. She didn't know why Marcus had chosen her. But as the engines hummed and the stars lit their path, one thing was clear. No one else had given her a chance. Now, for the first time in her life, she was more than just a single mother. She was part of a human's crew. And this was only the beginning. Whispers and warnings. Zuri walked down the narrow hallway of Marcus's ship, now wearing the plain gray uniform he gave her. Her hands were shaking, but she kept moving. She had cleaned the cargo bay, prepared meals, and even checked tools under Marcus's guidance. It felt right. But outside the ship, things were changing. The mission to the dead zone planet was already getting attention, and not the good kind. Back on the station, 3 alien workers whispered near a loading dock. Their scaly faces were sharp, their eyes cold. "She's working with a human now," one hissed. "The single mother, the beggar?" Another scoffed. "Unbelievable." The third alien, shorter but meaner, growled low. "Humans think they're saviors. He'll regret helping her." They passed the message to others. By the end of the day, the whole lower district knew. A Quillari mother was working with a human pilot. Jealousy spread fast. So did hate. Aboard the ship, Zuri didn't know she was being watched, until she found a note. It was in her cleaning bag, a folded piece of metal paper. One word was scratched into it. Traitor. She froze. Her eyes scanned the hallway. No one was there. Her heart raced. Was someone inside the ship? She went to Marcus's cockpit. He turned his chair when she entered. Everything okay? Zuri hesitated, then showed him the note. Marcus's face darkened. Looks like someone got into the ship during fueling, he said. I didn't hear anything, she said quietly. You weren't supposed to. They wanted to scare you. Zuri nodded slowly. It's working. Marcus stood up and locked the ship's main door from the inside. You want to leave? I won't stop you. Zuri looked at Yeli, who was asleep in the back room, holding her new soft blanket. No, she said. I'm tired of running. The ship arrived at the dead zone planet 3 hours later. It was dark, no sunlight, just a thick fog over broken mountains. The scanners picked up energy signals, but no signs of life. We'll be in and out, Marcus said. You follow my lead. No exploring alone. Zuri nodded. They stepped off the ship. Ground was cold and cracked. Strange glowing mushrooms grew in the rocks. Marcus led the way with a scanner. Zuri followed closely. Suddenly, the scanner beeped fast. Zuri turned her head. There, hidden in the shadow of a cliff, was a wrecked alien pod, burned and broken. Old, maybe 100 years. Marcus scanned it. Still holds power. We might find something valuable. They entered. Inside, strange tech covered the walls. Zuri reached out, then stopped. Something was written on the wall in her native Quillari script. Marcus noticed. What does it say? Zuri stared at the faded message. Her mouth felt dry. It says, Leave now. We are cursed. A chill ran down her spine. Marcus gave a small smile. Great. Just what I needed. Back at the ship, Zuri sat beside her daughter. Her body was tired, but her mind was wide awake. Marcus placed a metal crate between them. Found something interesting. He opened it slowly. Inside was a crystal glowing soft blue. Not dangerous, but ancient. Zuri leaned closer. That symbol, it's sacred to my people. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Really? She nodded. It means hope from ash. It's given to those who survive disaster. Marcus looked at her. Maybe it belongs to you then. Zuri smiled, faintly. But outside the ship, deep in the fog, something moved. Someone was watching and they weren't happy. A test of loyalty. The fog outside the ship had thickened. The planet's surface was silent, but something was wrong. Even the wind felt like it was holding its breath. Zuri couldn't sleep. She sat beside her daughter, who was quietly snoring in her blanket. The glowing crystal Marcus had found was now stored in a secure box, but Zuri still felt its warmth in her bones. Suddenly, boom. The ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered. Yeli woke up crying. Zuri grabbed her and ran to the front. Marcus was already there, punching commands into the console. We're under attack, he shouted. Zuri's heart pounded. Who? Pirates, he said, jaw tight. They tracked us. A warning flashed on the screen. Hull breach imminent. Outside, shadows moved in the fog. 3 dark ships had landed near theirs. Armed figures marched toward them. They want the crystal, Marcus said, and they're willing to kill for it. Zuri stepped forward. What can I do? Hide, he said. Take your daughter and lock yourselves in the engine room. She shook her head. No, I'm not leaving you. Marcus looked at her. Zuri, this isn't your fight. But she stared back, her eyes burning with determination. It is now. Marcus ran to the cargo bay to grab his weapon. Zuri followed, him not with a weapon, but with a tool cart. I know how to seal the side vents, she said. We can flood the hallways with coolant gas. They won't see anything. He looked at her surprised. You've worked on these systems? My husband did. I watched him every day before he died. Marcus nodded. Do it. Zuri moved fast, locking Yeli safely in a side pod first. Then she crawled into the maintenance tube and began rerouting the ship's emergency vent system. Her hands shook. Her eyes stung. But she didn't stop. Outside, pirates surrounded the ship. One barked into a comm. "Give us the human and the cargo or we blow the whole thing." Marcus stood at the top of the ramp, weapon ready. "You want it? Come get it." They fired. Lasers lit the air. Sparks flew. The ship's shield held, barely. Inside, Zuri finished the last connection. Hiss, cold fog blasted through the hallways. Alarms howled. The temperature dropped fast. The pirates burst through the lower hatch, only to be blinded by freezing. White gas. Marcus took his chance. He fought them off one by one using the smoke as cover. His aim was sharp, his moves quick. But then, he slipped. A pirate had managed to sneak in and struck him hard across the head. Marcus hit the floor, dazed. The pirate raised his blaster. "Time to die, human." Thunk. A metal rod hit the pirate's back, hard. It was Zuri. She had snuck up behind him, swinging a wrench with all her strength. The pirate dropped. Marcus stared at her, blood on his lip. "Remind me never to make you angry." Zuri offered him a hand. "I warned you I wasn't leaving." An hour later, the ship was quiet again. The pirates had retreated, defeated. Zuri patched up Marcus's cut. He didn't complain. Yelly sat beside them, eating a snack and humming softly. Marcus looked at Zuri. "You didn't run. You fought. You protected this ship like it was your own." Zuri smiled. "Maybe it is now." He held up a small metal tag, his crew badge. "You've earned this." She took it with shaky hands. And for the first time, Zuri felt something new, not just hope, but belonging. The mission that changed everything. 3 days had passed since the pirate attack. The ship was back, in orbit, circling a broken moon near the dead zone planet. Zuri now wore her crew badge with quiet pride. Yelly had stopped flinching at loud noises. She even laughed again. Marcus stood in the cockpit, eyes on the scanner. Something strange pulsed on the edge of the radar. Not just energy, life signs. Faint. Unknown. "This could be the score of a lifetime," he said. Zuri stood beside him, arms crossed. "Or it could be a trap." He smiled. "Probably both." The location was a half-buried ruin inside the moon's surface. The structure wasn't listed in any known maps. Even Marcus's database showed nothing. Zuri helped prep the landing pod. She was now more than a cleaner. She ran system checks, packed field gear, and even handled tools like a pro. "You're sure you want to come?" Marcus asked her again. "Yes," she said. "If this mission changes everything, I want to be part of it." He nodded. Yelly stayed behind in the ship with a security droid. It was risky, but Zuri had to trust the safety systems. As they descended into the ruin, the air grew colder. The entrance was carved into stone marked with glowing blue symbols, ancient Quillari writing. Zuri gasped. "These words, they're lost history. My people stopped using this script centuries ago." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Can you read it?" She knelt, fingers tracing the words. "It says, 'We offered peace, they answered with fire. Let memory be sealed until the stars turn red again.'" They exchanged a glance. Then the stone doors creaked open, on their own. Inside was a massive chamber filled with crystal pillars, long dead machines, and alien remains. Some had strange helmets. Some were still glowing faintly. One figure lay in the center, a Quillari female. Frozen. Perfectly preserved in some kind of stasis field. Zuri stepped closer. Her heart raced. "She looks like a guardian." Marcus nodded slowly. "A protector from an ancient war. If she's still alive in that stasis pod, they didn't get to finish." The chamber lights turned red. Doors slammed shut. A voice echoed through the ruin, deep and mechanical. "Unauthorized access. Memory lock breach. Defense system activating," Marcus swore. "We triggered a trap." Suddenly, the machines along the walls whirred to life. Spider-like robots unfolded, red lights blinking. Weapons aimed, Marcus dove behind a pillar. Zuri grabbed a broken shield from one of the ancient corpses and crouched beside him. "Can you shut them down?" he asked. "Maybe." But I need time. I saw a control panel behind the stasis pod. I'll distract them. Zuri grabbed his arm. You'll get killed. He looked her in the eye. Then run. Zuri took a breath, then whispered, No, we'll distract them together. They split. Marcus drew the robot's fire. Zuri slid behind the pod, dodging beams. She reached the console, covered in alien symbols. Her fingers flew across them, guided more by instinct than memory. Come on. Come on. Suddenly the robots froze. Zuri looked up. The stasis pod was opening. The ancient Kalari woman opened her eyes. She stared at Zuri. Then Marcus. And then softly she spoke in the lost language. Blood of my blood. You came back for me. Zuri gasped. What did you say? Marcus stepped forward, shocked. What just happened? Zuri turned to him, her voice trembling. I think she's my ancestor. Back on the ship, the ancient Kalari was safely placed in a recovery pod. Marcus watched as Zuri stood beside her daughter and looked out the window. You still think you're just a worker? He asked. Zuri smiled. No, I think I'm something more now. You're the reason we're alive. She looked at him. This mission didn't just change everything. It awakened something forgotten. In me. In my people. Marcus nodded. You, ready for what's next? Zuri squeezed Yeli's hand. Yes, let's make history. The Council's challenge, the ship glided through hyperspace, silent except for the soft hum of the engines. In the medical bay, the ancient Quillari woman rested inside a sealed pod, her vitals stable, but strange. Zuri stood nearby, her daughter asleep in her arms while Marcus watched from the doorway. She hasn't spoken again, Zuri whispered. But I feel connected to her. She called you blood, Marcus said. That's not nothing. Zuri nodded. I think she remembers something. Something important. Something dangerous. Just then the ship's alert beeped. Marcus checked the console. We're being hailed. Zuri looked up. Who is it? He stared at the screen. The Galactic Labor Council and the Central Heritage Authority. They docked at Caro Prime, a city-sized space station wrapped in gold and silver towers. It was the heart of law, power, and judgment. 2 council members waited at the docking bay. One tall alien with 3 eyes, wearing a blue robe, and one human woman with silver hair and cold eyes. Captain Marcus, the woman said, you've been summoned under Article 27, illegal discovery and cultural interference. Marcus kept calm. We didn't steal anything. We saved a life. The 3-eyed alien turned to Zuri. And you, a non-registered laborer, undocumented, with a dependent child, working aboard a human vessel. Zuri straightened her back. Yes, I worked, I cleaned, I saved lives. What law did that break? The alien's eyes narrowed. Everyone. Inside the council chamber, hundreds watched from screens. The case had become public, spreading fast across networks. A single mother working on a human ship. An ancient lost ancestor awakened. A forbidden connection between past and present. The council sat in silence. Marcus stood tall. Zuri stood beside him, hands trembling but firm. She is not a threat, Marcus said. She's part of something bigger. Her bloodline may hold keys to lost knowledge. She is a threat to our laws, the human judge replied. And you have broken codes by protecting her. A pause. Then Zuri stepped forward. She pulled a small chip from her pocket and placed it on the table. This contains the memory logs of the stasis pod, she said. It proves that my people were protectors, not parasites. They offered peace and were erased for it. The room went silent. Even the judges leaned in. One whispered, "Is this real?" The human judge narrowed her eyes. Even if this is true, she is still illegal in our workforce. Marcus smiled calmly. Actually, no. He pulled out a second document marked with a red seal, I filed for human sanctuary bonding rights. Under human law, she is now crew. And family. Gasps filled the room. The alien judge hissed, "That law is old, but still valid," Marcus said. "And until you rewrite it, she's under my protection." Outside, the crowd waited. When the council session ended, Zuri and Marcus stepped onto the platform. Aliens and humans alike stared, and then someone clapped. Then another, and another. Within seconds, the station echoed with applause. Not everyone supported them, but many had seen something new. A human standing for an alien. A mother rising from rejection to recognition. Back on the ship, Zuri tucked Yeli into bed. She clapped. Yeli whispered sleepily, "The lady with the feathers." She clapped. "For you, Mama." Zuri smiled. "Yes." She did. Marcus leaned in the doorway. "We're not safe yet, but we made a mark." Zuri nodded. "I was once nothing. Now I'm part of something that might change history." Marcus held up a data chip, and we're just getting started. A new role, a new future weeks passed. The galaxy didn't forget what happened on Caro Prime. Videos of Zuri's speech, of Marcus's defense, and of the ancient Quillari awakening spread fast. Some laughed, some protested, but many listened, and something unexpected began to happen. Other species, those once labeled weak, useless, rejected, began to ask for jobs. Not handouts. Just chances, like Zuri once had. On the ship Starling 9, things had changed too. Zuri now wore a different uniform, black with a silver stripe. Crew officer. Her badge had a name etched on it. Zuri of Kilar, human bonded crew. She walked through the hall with steady steps. Other new crew members saluted her. She nodded back, calm and firm. In the training room, she taught new hires how to manage coolant leaks, lock down systems, and survive pirate ambushes. They listened carefully. One young alien girl raised her hand. "Miss Zuri, is it true you fought 3 pirates with a wrench?" Zuri smiled softly. "Only 2. The third one ran away." The room burst into laughter, but behind her smile, Zuri remembered how scared she had been, how tired, how unwanted, and how far she had come. In the ship's cockpit, Marcus watched the stars. Zuri walked in, wiping grease off her hands. "We're ready for launch." He looked at her. "Where to next?" She paused. "There's a message from the Kalari refuge." "The hidden colony?" Zuri nodded. "They heard the story. They want to meet me. And the ancestor." Marcus leaned back in his chair. "Looks like you've become more than crew. You're a symbol now." Zuri stared at the stars. "I don't want to be a symbol. I just want to make sure no one ever feels what I felt. Worthless, forgotten." Marcus smiled. "You're doing that already." In the medbay, the ancient Quillari guardian sat up slowly. Her voice had returned. She looked at Yeli, who sat on her lap, braiding her long hair. "She is strong," the guardian whispered. "Like you." Zuri stepped forward. "She'll never beg for a job like I did, I promise." The guardian touched Zuri's forehead gently. "Your line was never weak. It was waiting for you." The ship lifted off once more. Its engines roared, quietly into the stars. Zuri stood beside Marcus at the front window, her daughter holding her hand. Below them, the planet grew smaller and smaller. Ahead was the unknown. But this time, she didn't feel afraid. She felt ready. Because once, no one wanted to hire her. Now she was leading a crew, inspiring a movement, and writing a new chapter in galactic history, all because one human gave her a chance and she proved she was more than worthy of it.